Here is every bet I placed at UFC Vegas 109. First off, I would like to go over how I did last week. I'm not just trying to promote my bets without any profit behind it. Last week, we made 2.35 units. We went 10-2 on picks on the card. The only misnomers we had was Danny Silva. That was a long shot dog. We had Rafael Estevam sub. That wasn't the best pick. But overall, I would say, pretty sharp bets. Let's try to replicate this in this video. First off, here are the fights that I simply could not find any value on whatsoever based on my picks, based on what I think to be a good bet. Gabriela Fernandez and Julia Stoliarenko. I think Fernandez can win by ground and pound TKO, but I also think Stoliarenko has a very live chance to win by armbar submission if it gets to the ground, but I don't like either bet, so I'm not betting either one. Elijah Smith and Toshiomi Kazama. Toshiomi Kazama can potentially win by sub, plus 1100. Didn't feel like betting that. And Elijah Smith, untested, unproven prospect. I know he won against Vince Morales, but minus 600, I don't really feel like shoving that into a parlay either. So we're skipping that one. And then also Steve Ursig and Ode Osborne. I was really tempted to take the underdog Ode Osborne, but I just can't do it. I think Ursig, this is just going to be a levels fight. Ursig was fighting top 5 guys. Now he's fighting unranked Ode Osborne on short notice. It's just too many fishy things going on. Ursig should win by sub. He should win by decision. It should be one of those things. And I just didn't feel like betting on that. First bet we have on the card is Cody Brundage taking on Eric McConaughey. My pick in this fight is Cody Brundage to win by vicious knockout in the first round. And we're also betting Cody Brundage at favorite odds. You don't often see me betting a favorite, but when I do, more often than not, they smack. Minus 130 Cody Brundage. The only issue I have is Cody Brundage is coming in at light heavyweight, as is McConaughey. So there is a chance McConaughey is kind of weight bullying Brundage in this fight, but Brundage should win. I mean, I never said that in my life, but this is the first time. Brundage should win. Next fight in the card that I'm betting on is Uros Medic and Gilbert Urbina. My pick in this fight is Gilbert Urbina to win by first round submission. He's taken over a year off after his brutal knockout loss to Charles Radtke, and I think he's gonna show different elements to his game. Medic has shown that he can be taken down, and he's also chinny. He is a dynamo, okay? He's an explosive dynamo, so he can hit hard, but Urbina, if he just outlasts the original shots, he can win. He can win. I have 1.2 units on Gilbert Urbina plus 320. I think he can get takedowns in this fight, and I think he can even land a big shot on Medic. I mean, Punahele Soriano knocked out Medic as an underdog last fight, so I don't see why Urbina can't do it either. Next fight we have a bet on is Jocelyn Edwards and Priscilla Cachoeira. I think Jocelyn Edwards is way better at MMA than Priscilla Cachoeira, and I think she's actually going to find the finish here. Jocelyn Edwards is coming off back-to-back finish wins. She got a round 1 KO. She got a round 2 submission, I believe. So in this one, I think she could win inside the distance yet again. We're getting plus 185 for that. I threw a unit on it. I think Jocelyn Edwards, if you want to go even further, is going to win by submission. I think if she just takes down Priscilla, it's going to be her fight to lose. I mean, she can ground and pound Priscilla, she can find a submission once it gets there, and she even has good hands on the feet to knock out Priscilla on the feet. So Jocelyn Edwards, very confident. Next fight we have a bet on is Julius Walker taking on Rafael Cerqueira. I've been saying it all week. I just have no faith whatsoever in Rafael Cerqueira to be good in the UFC whatsoever. Julius Walker at least went to split decision when Alonzo Menefield was landing big shots against him. I am worried that Julius Walker submits Rafael Cerqueira because that seems to be like his main path to victory. He tries to get the fight to the ground and work his jiu-jitsu, but he should find the KO. I mean, Rafael Cerqueira is coming off back-to-back round 1 KO losses. So I'm shoving Julius Walker KO into a parlay with 1 unit attached. Next fight we have a bet on is Eric Anders taking on Christian Leroy Duncan. My pick in this fight is Christian Leroy Duncan to win by KO. And I'm saying first round. And I'm also betting Christian Leroy Duncan to win by KO. Eric Anders has been knocked down 3 fights in a row. He might not have gotten finished, but he's been at least knocked down. And if CLD is landing big shots early, I think Anders is going to crumble to the pressure. Yes, Anders can get takedowns. He can maybe win by decision, but that's a long shot. And Anders is 8 years older than CLD. CLD is going to have a huge athleticism and speed advantage, so I think he should find the KO. We're putting a unit on it. Next fight we have a bet on is Miles Johns and Gene Matsumoto. My pick in this fight is Gene Matsumoto win by decision, and the prop for that is like -115, so I didn't really feel like doing that. I also think Gene Matsumoto has finishing upside, so if he has finishing upside and he can win by decision, I'm shoving his money line into a parlay. I parlayed it with Julius Walker KO, and if you parlay that with this, you get plus money. I think Gene Matsumoto can win this by any means necessary. I think Miles Johns is done. I think he's done ever since he got popped for roids against Dan Argueta. He's been kind of mid. He doesn't really shoot for takedowns anymore. He doesn't have any volume on the feet. I don't really know what Miles Johns offers, so Gene Matsumoto, I feel like, is a good parlay piece this week. Next fight we have a bet on is... I said at the beginning of the week that you should not be betting on this fight, Andre Fili and C-Rod, just because it's just so wild. Andre Fili is insanely untrustworthy, and C-Rod only beats prospects, but if we're breaking this down stylistically, there is a prop I like. I mean, my pick in this fight is Christian Rodriguez to win by sub, and Christian Rodriguez by sub is plus 500. So I threw a half unit on that. That'll win you a couple units if you were to tail my unit system. And I think C-Rod, he was able to get takedowns against Melky Costa and amass control time against him. Nearly got him in some bad spots. And I feel like if he does the same method against Andre Fili, he will get the sub. Andre Fili was begging to get guillotined against Melky Costa in his last fight. So C-Rod, I think, if he gets takedowns, he'll work his way to a submission victory. Next fight we have a bet on is Yasmin Lucindo and Angela Hill. I think Angela Hill wins by decision, and we're just going to simply be taking Angela Hill moneyline, plus 148. It seems like a very sheepish pick. I see a lot of people also taking Angela Hill, so that does worry me a little bit that I'm not on an island, because, usually when I'm on an island with my pick, they usually come through. That's how it works. Like Gilbert Urbina, I'm on an island on, and I'm actually more confident in him to win than Angela Hill, because women's MMA is insanely 50-50, but I'll take the plus money side in a seemingly 50-50 coin flip to Angela Hill. Next fight we have a bet on is obviously the main event, Roman Dolidze and Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. My pick in this fight is Anthony Hernandez to win by round 4 submission, and it was hard to actually bet Hernandez sub. It is plus 200, but I mean, it's tough because he can win by decision, and I think Dolidze is pretty durable. I don't think he's ever been finished. I think all 3 of his losses are by decision. So, with that being said, Anthony Hernandez late or by decision, that's basically this pick. Anthony Hernandez to win and the over 2.5 rounds. I put 1.2 units on it. You can get minus 120 for that. I think Dolidze will win the opening round. He might even win the first 2 rounds. But as the fight progresses, if Anthony Hernandez has not been finished by brutal KO yet, he will be amassing lots of control time and has constant pressure. He's the middleweight Marab after all. His name's Fluffy. He's a funny guy. I think he's going to get this done. He can get it late or he can get it by decision. This bet covers both. Next up is the FINZ Hammerlock, my weekly most confident underdog pick of the card. If you're paying careful attention, I only have 2 bets on 2 underdogs. We have Gilbert Urbina, who I'm not making the FINZ Hammerlock. He can just go out there and get starched in like a minute, so that would be a bad look. The FINZ Hammerlock this week is actually Angela Hill. I think she has all the upside to win in this fight. She throws way more volume on the feet than Yasmin Lucindo. She has better takedowns than Yasmin Lucindo. Yasmin Lucindo got controlled for over 10 minutes by Amanda Lemos, who's a way worse wrestler and grappler than Angela Hill. And Yasmin Lucindo, she got takedowns on Marina Rodriguez, sure, but she got stood up multiple times when she was in mount, when she was in side control, because she's not progressing on the ground. Yasmin Lucindo, I think, is a very fraudulent strawweight, and I think Angela Hill has one more in her. And the last thing I'm going to show you is the FINZ cycle for the week. You got to take 1 KO prop, 1 submission prop, 1 decision prop. That's how it works. Shout out to Maddie Betts. And this week, I think we're smacking. I really do. I'm taking Jocelyn Edwards by sub, which I think that's her main path to victory. CLD by KO. I think that's definitely happening. I mean, plus 185 for something that's definitely happening. Sign me up. And Gene Matsumoto, by decision, you throw $8 on this, you win 192. You basically, what, 230x your money? I mean, no, sorry, wait. You 23x, 230x, yikes. You 23xing your money on this parlay, which seems pretty safe, I would say is a good bet.